Every single day as we broadcast to you from the city of New York, Kevin McCullough, my heart is heavy for those that we have the ability to reach through this radio broadcast. My heart is heavy for the world around us and for what we have the ability to yet accomplish. And my heart is heavy for the fact that time is short. And so, friends, it's with great heaviness that I come to you every day, wanting to make sure that we get you the truth and give you the appropriate channels by way you can discuss it and, of course, take action on it. I'm Kevin McCullough. So glad to have you with us. It's AFA Today on the AFR Talk Radio Network. And don't forget, each weeknight coming your way on many of these stations tonight, 8 o'clock Eastern, the Kevin McCullough Show. And if you don't get it in your area, AFR.net. The live stream, also on the radio app on your smartphone. You can get it there. And then, of course, 4 a.m. Eastern each morning, the entire network gets it. But glad that you're with us. We're doing everything we can daily to obliterate confusion, replace it with clarity, and to do everything that we can to get as many people as we can thinking clearly about the issues of life around them, building that thought process, building that worldview, of course, on biblical truth. And if you would like to stay with us 24 hours a day, the AFA Today Facebook page is easily found at afatoday.com. afatoday.com, spell today like, I don't know, today, and put AFA in front of it, afatoday.com, and join the Facebook page and be part of the revolution that not only absorbs information but uses it then for the welfare and the benefit of creating a different atmosphere and environment and universe that we are living in. Because, friends, we need to speak truth into this equation. That's the problem. Truth is absent, and so things get built on what's left when truth isn't there, lies. When we build things on lies, foundations are not stable, and so we see great instability, we see great pain, we see great hurt in the world around us because we are not thinking, believing, behaving, and ultimately impacting the world with truth. Think, believe, act, impact. It's that process that we're all slaves to. So glad that you're with us, Kevin McCullough. Let's go back to the phones. But I want to first remind you of a little bit about what we're discussing today. Here's Jay Carney from earlier today in the White House.
With regards to your question about the Chinese government, we are just not buying that this was a technical decision by a Hong Kong immigration official. This was a deliberate choice by the government to release a fugitive despite a valid arrest warrant. And that decision unquestionably has a negative impact on the U.S.-China relationship.
All right. It unquestionably has a negative impact on the relationship with you and us and them and everybody. China and the U.S. cannot play nicely in the sandbox together anymore because they let one of our guys go that we were telling them they had to turn over. They ignored us. They kind of, just said, yeah, whatever, and kept on doing whatever they were doing before. 888 589-8840, 888-589-8840. Let's go next to Janice, who's calling from Mississippi. Janice, welcome. You're on with Kevin McCullough on AFA Today. So glad to have you with us. Thanks for being here.
First of all, I would like to tell you that I love listening to your broadcast.
Well, Janice, that's just the nicest thing anybody said to me today, so thank you very much.
Well, you're very welcome. And as far as Edward Snowden's guilt or innocence, I don't really know because we can't trust what the government tells us. And we've already caught them in lies. But what I would like to know is where was Jay Carney's outrage when it was discovered the IRS threw themselves a multi-million-dollar convention, and now we learn that they have given themselves a bonus of $70 million. What I would like to know is our men and women in service that are arriving home with less body parts than when they left, are they getting a bonus? And as far as I know, I do not have any relatives or friends in the service that I know of that are close to me. But, I mean, that's just one of the problems.
Yeah, Janice, thank you again for your kind words. What I hear you saying is that you have a hard time discerning whether or not the administration maintains the same outrage for the right priorities as you do. And I think that's a fair question. Since they work for you, since they work for me, what makes us mad should make them mad. It seems to me that they're getting really mad about something that a lot of people are indifferent about it best. Maybe there's a handful of people that are like, hey, this guy's a traitor and he should, be lynched or something. I don't hear a ton of that. What I hear is, do you think it's true that, in fact, I was getting questions about this at church yesterday. Do you think it's really true that the government's spying on our internet activity and our phone records? And I was like, yeah, I think it's true. I do. And when you see the pressure they put on Verizon to turn over those records for billions of calls, when you see and realize that the 12 largest internet companies have all, rather than face adverse consequences from the government for not cooperating, they've cooperated to give them whatever they needed. I don't feel entirely positive that we're totally not being watched every day, which is part of what Edward Snowden uncovered and brought to the fore. And a lot of us, that's why we're having this abnormal lack of clarity on his actions. See, normally I would go right for the jugular on this and say, well, he clearly broke the law. He's the one that's in trouble. He should be apprehended and caused to serve justice. I'm trying to decipher for myself. If you live in a lawless state, if you work for a lawless government, are you not on some grounds then trying to figure out what is moral and immoral on your own? I generally don't think that that's a good argument for anybody. But what I do totally understand is if what we get out of Snowden is the same level of revelations that he's made thus far, then he was trying to be a patriot, it seems. There's a huge, by the way, argument about this on Capitol Hill right now. People are saying that Ron Paul should stop calling him a whistleblower. Rand Paul should stop calling him a whistleblower. They're mad at him because he won't say things negatively about Snowden. But he's withholding judgment and saying, we'll wait and see. What I really genuinely hope that does not happen is that Snowden does turn over things that genuinely put us at peril or at risk. And, of course, there are bad players on the world stage that would love for him to help them figure those things out right now. They would even be willing to throw a lot of money at him to do that. That puts us at risk. That's a danger. That's legitimate concern. But this overly hot-aired response that Jay Carney, well, this has insufferably changed and unbelievably damaged the relationship between the U.S. and China. Really? Like China was our best friend? Like they were doing everything they could to just make our life better to begin with? I don't think so. And we've been mostly the one to blame in that regard because we keep giving them things. All right, let's go to who's next? Let's go to Tennessee and speak with Doyle. Hi, Doyle. Welcome. You're on AFA Today with Kevin McCullough. Glad you're here.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here. I really enjoy your show.
Thank you so much.
I agree so much with almost all of what you're saying. I don't think that Snowden is breaking any vows. I believe he's keeping his vow because his highest vow is to the Constitution. He has to say something and expose what's being done. And honestly, I think the only reason that Jay Carney and Obama and all the rest are so upset is because what he has to reveal is damaging. It exposes their hypocrisy and all of the things that they're doing that are treasonous. So, I mean, Obama has clearly drawn the battle line. He is against Christians, Jews. Am I still on?
Yeah, you're still on.
Okay. He stands against patriots, conservatives, and he stands with Islamists, socialists, communists, gangsters. I mean, it just can't be much clearer.
Yeah. Well, and unfortunately, Doyle, thank you for your call. Unfortunately, they fooled a lot of people in this last election. AFR's own Meek Addison was on a special Hannity broadcast over the weekend where she was able to say, look, the African-American church, we weren't paying attention. and we needed to pay a lot better attention. And she made some other quite more profound and very provocative observations that I will let her discuss and explain as you will hear her on several of the shows here. But Meeky, not Meek. Okay. Let's see, I that last E on the end of her name, that throws me a lot. So I was not meaning to be, disingenuous to Mrs. Addison. How's that? Mickey, please forgive me if you're listening. 888-589-8840. Let's go to Jason in Texas. Jason, you're next on AFA Today on AFR Talk with Kevin McCullough. Hi.
Hello, Kevin. How are you today?
I'm doing well. Thank you for asking. What are your thoughts?
Good. I'm glad to hear that. Well, it's on Snowden. When he took his vow to office or to whatever position in government he held,
mm-hmm.
he didn't make it to the administration, whatever administration it may have been. He made it to the American public. And in my mind, and I believe in his as well, he was upholding his oath by coming out and saying these things. And I guess I'm really torn because
all right, Jason, I gotta interrupt there for this reason, because you and the last caller both said the same thing, and just on a factual basis, you're both incorrect. And I just want to it's not because I disagree with your heart or your intention or even your value system. It sounds like we're blood brothers on that. But he revealed information that he swore secrecy to, and he did that purposefully. He did that willingly. Technically, he has broken that law, that he would not reveal those proprietary secrets. Now, let me just put it in everyday life. I run a media company. I run a little business here in New York. We have proprietary secrets that we don't tell anybody else. If someone hires in and then goes and tells our competition what we do, they are under the understanding that that they cannot reveal what they learn about in terms of how we run our company to other companies. Technically, on that level, he has done that, and there's no real moral argument that goes against that. He did that. The question is breaking that rule a greater good for society, for Americans in general, than not breaking it and keeping his word and not letting us know about the things that were happening against us? And so from that standpoint, I agree with you. I agree with the last caller. We're all in the same boat in terms of, how we think about that. But we cannot, it's not morally right to say that he didn't break his oath or the law, because he technically did both of those things.
And I'll concede to that, but
okay,
to take the high road, I believe he chose the greater good.
And that's a legitimate argument, and that's where you and I and others are, we're debating, do we want this guy held, accountable for his actions? Or do we want him to be expected to be a hero? And I think a question in a lot of people's minds, and Jason might be rolled into this in the last from the last caller, we might actually be going, wonder if he'd even get a fair trial in the United States. Wonder if they'd try to find a way to try him as, I don't know, a military combatant. Because, and here's the problem, and it goes to the root of the problem with why Jay Carney was so flabbergasted with all the other countries today. No one believes a word the administration says. They don't believe that if Eric Holder gives his word that it's going to be kept. They don't believe that the Justice Department is about justice. And it has to do with the systemic nature of the character of the leaders of those departments at this time. In other words, and let me be very clear about this. It's not because one administration is Democrat or another administration is Republican or another one is Libertarian or whatever. It's because the people that are there in their posts right now have character flaws that run so deep. Their deficits are so immense when it comes to the ability to tell the truth and to be honest to the American people. It is that deficit of character that creates the biggest problems for the administration at its present time. It has nothing to do with their political affiliations or anything else. You can have disagreements about policy and elect different people and try different ideas and try to run economies from different, socioeconomic theories and still be honest people. When you choose to willfully be dishonest people, Then